Hello, my name's Tessa Frere. Welcome to Surviving the Summer, offering top tips on how we can be consistent to stay calm over the summer holidays with your children. The summer holidays can be really difficult and at times feels overwhelming with the thought of what we're going to do for a whole 6 weeks with our children. Today we're going to talk about how we can make things easier for you and your children. Parent guilt. A lot of parents feel guilty when they enforce rules and discipline and can resent the fact that they are seen as bad cop for doing so. We want to consider the word discipline as a system for guiding children, not punishing them. And also we want to talk about boundaries. Being able to stay calm and consistent with rules and boundaries can really help improve relationships and positive behaviour within the home. Being consistent. It's helpful if our lives are predictable. We know what to do and our children know what's coming up and what is expected of them. If we can give them a fair, expected discipline when needed, then we're more likely to have children who respond calmer and listen to what we say. If we're not consistent, then our children are more likely to push boundaries, argue back and show more negative behaviours. We can all at the same time relate to parents or trusted adults and guardians that gave different boundaries. Maybe we had one that controlled us more with less freedom and stricter boundaries, yet others may be allowed more freedom but struggled to manage this themselves, maybe struggled to know what was okay. Being able to maintain clear boundaries, noticing and rewarding positive behaviour and using reasonable penalties in response to negative behaviour can all help our children feel cared for, safe and help them respect us in turn as well. Family meetings is a really good idea, particularly with the summer holidays. Family meetings is an opportunity for you to talk as a family around expectations or any new rules you want to put into place, or even decisions about what's going to happen during the holidays. We can also use family meetings to discuss a variety of topics. It might be that you want to decide, involve your children in what they're going to eat that week, or what they're going to activities they'd like to do. Also, it's really good to have a chat about whether you're happy with their behaviour within the home and what you'd like to improve on, or even allocate them some chores to do and give them a little bit more responsibility too. On this slide, we've got a really good example of what a family meeting agenda would look like. All family members in the house must attend the meeting. Maybe you could assign roles, who's going to lead, who's going to write. It's really important that everyone understands there's no interrupting, only one person at a time is allowed to speak. There'll be no name callings, no making fun of each other, and definitely no shouting. It's really important for this to work to make everyone listen to each other. Maybe start with something positive, compliment each other on what's been good today or what they're really good at, or even start with a joke. Everyone is allowed to have a say and be respectful of their views for this really to be successful. Why do we need rules? Rules enables children to feel safe, loved and cared for as they know what to expect. They feel they can respect us if we can be calm, consistent and fair, resulting them in to have less meltdowns and conflicts with us. It also really helps parents. It allows us to stay calmer, which also reduces the amount of negative behaviour you will receive. It also helps us recognise positive actions and behaviours and gives us the opportunity to praise it, which is really important. Another good reason to put rules in place as it helps guide our children to make the right choices and takes responsibilities for their own actions as well. Here's a really good example of thinking about family rules, the do's and don'ts as well. What we'd like to do is incorporate that with rewards, but also penalties as well. So a really good example is to be gentle with each other. So if children are are kind and gentle to each other that day, you can reward them. It might be as simple as having a choice for their pudding that day. However, if they aren't kind and nice to each other and unable to do that, then it's really important that you follow through on the consequence, which is your penalty. And that would be not having a dessert for that day as well. One thing that I would recommend is not to focus too much on the don'ts. Human nature instinctively focuses on the don'ts behaviour. For example, if I asked you not to think of a pink elephant, many of you now are thinking of a pink elephant. If we focus too much on the don't behaviour, this is not giving us the opportunity to positively praise and reward them. And when we positively praise and reward them, this is when we get the really good behaviour. So let's change those do rules and give them more opportunities to tell them how fantastic and wonderful they are and how hard they're working to try to be nice to each other as well, and really encourage that nice behaviour too. As well as encouraging positive behaviour by offering praise and reward, at times we do need to allow our children to make the decisions from giving choices and deal with the consequences as well. So how can we do this? Within this example, we're going to be talking about consequences and what a positive consequence looks like and what a negative consequence looks like. So for example, we've got Chris. We're giving Chris choices and he's having his tea at the same time. So you can either sit at the table with all of us for tea, which is your positive behaviour choice, or you can get up from the table whilst you're eating, which is your negative behaviour choice. If you choose to sit and eat nicely with us, then you can choose a dessert for afterwards, and that's providing the positive consequence. Or if you choose to get up and move around, there will be no dessert today, and that's your negative consequence. And at this point, it's really important that you give this choice to the child. Most importantly, whatever they decide, you follow through on that consequence, and fingers crossed it's a positive consequence. When looking at choice and consequences, here are our top tips. It's really important that we're clear and specific to our children, that we use a very calm and clear voice to them, and also that we relate the consequences to their behaviour. So any positive behaviour will follow with a positive consequence, and similar to any negative behaviour will have a negative consequence. And also it's really important that you follow through, particularly with the negative consequence, because at times that can be hard. Also, we'll only give choices that is right for the situation as well. Give children time to think about what they decide to do as well. Sticking to our guns. Why follow through on consequences? If we want our children to cooperate and follow the rules we set, we need to follow through with consequences, even if it may feel easier to give in at the time. If we don't, they are not likely to do as they are told. One instruction at a time with key words such as go brush your teeth or put your shoes on can easily give several instructions at a time without realising they may not remember them, such as, right, put your bowl in the sink, go upstairs, brush your teeth, remember yours is a blue toothbrush, then come down and we can get your shoes on and go. Research has shown on average that parents give instructions or orders 17 times in 30 minutes. So maybe be really clear about what you want to happen and short as well. Reward charts. Reward charts are really good. Think about those do rules again, and remember the effort of trying to do something is often a lot harder than completing the task. You could have a stars or stickers for them for trying to, just to help that make it easier. Family rules. This could be something discussed together to make sure everyone is in agreement. There has to be, and there will be, compromises. For example, it might be an older sibling can go to bed slightly later or have their lights on before lights out. Timers. Children love a challenge. You could set a favourite song or a timer going to challenge to be get dressed before the song finishes, or they've got 10 seconds to run upstairs to go and brush their teeth. Having some fun in place could make mornings a little bit easier and also less stressful, particularly if you're on a time scale. Giving chances. So a bit like in football where they've got the cards, do they get a warning? They get a yellow card and then they finally get a red card. So we could warn the children their behaviour isn't what we want to see and that they've got another chance to change it. If you have to tell them again, then remind them that they will be removed from the activity or another consequence that has already been agreed, such as timeout, no computer games is going to go off if they were being told again. If the third time this has continued, then you need to follow through with that consequence, reminding them that they had two choices to change the behaviour. This will really help next time if you experience the same behaviour. Timeout. Timeout can be really effective for younger children to have a quick break from whatever they're doing. Research has shown through that a break as short as 30 seconds to a minute can be enough to give them a chance to calm down and re-regulate. Thank them for listening and having a break, and allow them to leave the time out area. What is really important is remembering to come down to their level when talking to them afterwards, so it feels more positive when you are talking to them about what is happening, rather than standing over them, making them feel like they're being told off again. That level of communication really helps when putting consequences into place. Looking after ourselves is really important. Making sure our children are healthy, safe and loved is a really important part of parenting. But as part of this, looking after our own mental and physical health is just as important. If we're tired, stressed, ill and overwhelmed, then we can struggle to parent the best way. We can often feel guilty about taking time for ourselves, but if we're able to look after ourselves, we can be a better parent. Part of looking after ourselves is to have the support network around us. These could be people who actually support us with day-to-day things such as childcare, giving lifts to appointments, or someone who can call to let off steam, or just for a general chat, or just someone who is there for us in the background for when we need them as well. Wellbeing is really important, and actually this is something you can do with your children. Here's some really lovely examples of some breathing exercises we can do with our children when we're feeling overwhelmed, upset or frustrated, or even if our children are feeling upset or frustrated as well. Another really good one is the 5-finger breathing, where we trace around our fingers as we breathe. So starting at our wrist, we breathe in as we go up our thumb, and we breathe out as we go down. We breathe in, up our index finger and out as we go down, and so on. When we get to our little finger, we take a bigger breath and breathe out all the way down to our wrists. This is a really, really lovely activity to do with our children. Would highly recommend it. The power of praise. Praise can be the best power we control. The amount of praise and the way we praise our children can make a big difference to how they behave and communicate with you. However, as part of this, we need to think about giving specific rather than general praise. For example, we don't just want to say you're the best. Whilst it sounds great, it doesn't say what they're good at. So maybe we say You keep going, even when you found some bits hard. I'm proud of you of how hard you have worked and really enjoyed watching you. This will make a real difference to your children. Our last top tip for today's session is never rush in haste for anything. Stay calm, stay focused, and the sequence of events will take care of itself. And we can do this. It's 6 weeks and have a lovely summer holidays. I hope you found today's session useful, and if you do find that you would like some more information, then please do get in touch with us, or maybe book on one of our courses from September. To find out details of our service, if you log on to YouTube, there will be a presentation with all our details on. Thank you.